guess we're live. I don't fucking know when it comes down to this OBS. Let's give it a go. Let's have a look, shall we? Monday. Um, I don't know about today. Let's be honest. I'm not really too sure. I'm gonna tell you something. I was at work and drawing through, did on the paper trading, so I can go through quickly on the trades that I would have actually taken. It was a fur candle on the top side. So that was one trade that we would have taken on a sell position and closed out here. And then just before the New York Open, whereabouts was it? It was this candle here. So that ain't right, is it? See what I think it was. So got caught on short on that, but when I was paper trading, that would have been the long closed out, so a lot less than what we could have potentially gained. And then the short to then go into a long just before I sat down, which would have been a here, and we would have been out on this next candle, but then back in on this candle, and then pretty much running that trade as we would currently be in. That's what we would have been in. So that would have essentially been 1, 2, and then looking like 3 potential winners. Nice flow with the price chart as well. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at we've got the same sort of days that I've not really been liking. This up then down, a lot of volume, well not so much compared to the other days, but then it trickled into nothing. Pretty much the same as this day, up then back down, up down, causing this like inverted V. We had the same sort of one slightly here, but on the lower time. Again, this sort of like V, but this day did carry on with more volume. So maybe we'll get some more like that V, but then we can continue on with volume. So it's a bit later on than what I'd normally want to be trading. It's 5:30. We're going to probably go till 7. So an hour and a half. Suppose we'll go to about 7, and then that'll be me. I'm not going to do any more than that. I think obviously not tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I doubt it, but maybe tomorrow. Definitely, probably summer next week. We're going to be trading the New York Open at 2:30. So when we would have been here, obviously that would have allowed us then. Pardon me. That would have allowed us then to take this short. It would have been here, and we would have got out roughly here. So I think that worked out as like 900 to 1,000 or something like that. So it would have been a nice little trade. Obviously, for the time being, we don't have that option. But looking over how we did on stage 1 in the last couple of days, it's sort of been, we've been missing the giant moves just to get caught up in this shit. 2:30, big fucking moves, big drop off, and then when it gets to like 5, we're just getting caught in this horribleness. So what we're going to be doing today is just getting caught in the horribleness. Hopefully we don't lose enough that we blow the account, but we've got to give it some form of a go. And then obviously when we trade the New York Open, hopefully we'll still have the account and we can just trade that New York Open and actually see if we can get some proper profits in. If not, and obviously don't forget that 8k day on stage 1 was also at 2:30 onwards. That's what we did. So that, again, we were in that perfect volume area. It seems to be like what I need to be getting involved with and sort of trading. Yeah. So today is really, I'm expecting again losses. It'd be nice not to get losses, but I am expecting losses today. Just for the pure fact that it's 5:30 in the afternoon. We're gonna trade till 7 o'clock, so an hour and a half. Oh, that's a good coffee. Well, I'm not expecting a lot. I feel like most of my profits are going to be coming in between New York Open and 4:30. So that's what we're going to really try to go for in the future. If we blow this account before I have an opportunity to go again, we'll just buy another one. We'll just buy another one, and we'll keep on uploading it until we'll keep on uploading it on YouTube, doing these fucking lives until we pretty much pass one and get a withdrawal. I think that's what I want to do on here. Give a go, and I think that's what we want to do. But hopefully we can do it on this account. We don't have to blow it in order to do it, but we might. Like I say, I like to trade an average of. There's no tobacco on that one. I like to trade an average of 26 contracts, which works out 1.33 lots. I think 1.33 lots works out about 25 contracts. instead of 26. They're in a contract short. Annoyingly, on CTrader it shows the contracts instead of lots, whereas on the FTMO APK plugin or API plugin, it seems to be done in lots, like a MetaTrader is done on, which I don't really like, because if you obviously on here, if you get into a position on lots, it still doesn't say how many contracts you're in and closing, whereas on certain platforms, even when you're trading in lots and you get in there and you close positions out, you can see, or when you buy in, you can see what how many contracts were bought and sold with inside that time frame. And I prefer contracts. Don't know why. I just do. Don't like the 1.33. Fucking annoying. Yeah, pretty much straight off the get-go, what we're potentially looking for is shorts. I'd want to see a significant move to the downside for me to see shorts. You know, something like that for me to then be even interested in taking a pump for a short. Or we're waiting for a little tiny pullback for a continuation or move to the top side. Either kind of works for me, to be honest with you. I'm not really too fussed. As we always say, I'm going to go trading off my gut. I'm going to see what my gut has to offer and what we like the look of, and then we'll pretty much go from there, essentially. I think I'm going to get some new headphones as well today. I'll buy these. I've got the Logitech X Pros, whatever the fuck they're called, with the little metal piece on the side. They were really, really good, but they've just sort of fallen apart on me now. I've overused them. I think I might get some of these. I mean, I did want to get some Sennheisers, but I feel like they've fallen off in recent years. But yeah, I mean, we'll just play our ear to the ground, see where we're at. Yeah, I'll try a couple of new things I've been sort of going over. Wait, they don't even have... Bro, how the fuck Funding Pips is allowed to push RSIs and like this trading view as normal trading view is beyond me. On the input, they don't even have what's it called? They don't even have your source for what you're taking the RSI off of. I wanted to put it on the high and low divided by 2, but don't have that. It's a good thing they gave a fucking smoothing line though. Fucking dog shit. So for me, I feel like we're definitely pointing towards that top side. Reason being is something that I have been doing the last couple of days and realised happens quite often, is the idea of lows and high significance being proved to be, you know, shown by the RSI, such as like here, and then the break of that will return into a long, and then for example like here return into a short, and then here going in for the long, with the last known support, as you'd call it, being here at the moment. So pretty much price would have to break there to continuate, or we're going to push higher for that to be pushing higher. Now the area in which I get that from is what I've been sort of toying around with, is every time that we see this RSI go below, if you take it to the last high here and we draw that high, and then we look up where the price is and we draw that high, and then we have, you know, this oversold, because obviously we're looking at a sell position, and we draw that high being here and we locate where that high is there, we can see that double lines. When you see place a line above that, you see the break. Again, if we then went this low here because we went above the RSI, we look at the bottom and we just go up to where price is, it would be here. Same again, you know, if we were to go off of here on the short, because obviously we broke and flipped, and we go back up, we can see it here, and then we flipped again. So the newest one would be obviously here, which would correlate to the area in which we've just drawn there. It's one thing that I think you should, if you're watching this or you're ever watching this, you should probably have a look at. It seems to be pretty well played out, to be honest with you. It seems to be able to point out pretty key areas, as we can see here, and a good way in trailing, you know, because I mean, what we would have trailed that, if you look here, we can see that that would have been here, and it correlates then with this next oversold, which is also correlates with that top high. And then, you know, if we were to play that down, we could see then that we were here, and we'd be playing that top, and then we were here, and obviously then you would have come into the next day and closed out off that top high here. So it's a good way in trailing positions, I feel. I'm not going to use that today, but I'm kind of using it as a just like as a, I guess, a confluence of just what direction I feel the market may be going in as a quick glance, you know, because if we were to take that quick glance, say we got rid of this and we got rid of that, you know, for me, I mean, this just hasn't been back tested too hard. It's been back tested enough for my fucking brain to go, I'm willing to put money on it. But if we look at it at the glance, we want to know which direction, you know, is it up or are we down on the market, to know like which, if we got higher odds in going forward on the long-term macro trend, would be to immediately look for the last known low, see that high, correlate that high, see that break, and then go for the last known low being here and draw that low, and then see that we correlate here. So between here, I would say that from a very, very quick glance at the RSI, that we're actually looking at long positions with the next pivot point before we flip into short being here, you know. And if this was to now close here and close us back in below 70, and then we pushed back up and high, which went above 70 again, say this price right here went like that, and then we pushed back up, which caused this to go like that, the next loan area would be here, which would mean that the, you know, we could move that stop up. I mean, I think it's worth backtesting. You know, if you see this or anything, I think personally it might be worth backtesting, like we just did close there. It's a good way in quickly seeing at first glance which direction you're in for trades. You know, if you want to get in on entries, correlate that with a couple of other things you use. If you are an indicator trader or something, then you can probably see and go off of that. You know, but obviously we're going to stick to the naked chart trading. It's just something that I just wanted to just sort of highlight that I was sort of playing around with yesterday and over the weekend, and I realised like, oh, that seems to correlate quite often. You know, if we were to take high and lows, we took them off of the RSI and we signified, you know, impulse moves to the top side or to the downside as being over 70 or below 30, and then correlated the last known low or high before, you know, that impulse happened, and we move that then over and mitigate that towards price changes actually on the chart. You can see quite quickly that, like, holy shit, this does seem to have some level of accuracy. You know, that, I don't know, say you want to get into longs, you might then go, okay, and if you were thinking about taking shorts, you know, and you saw this market move to the downside, let's get rid of this. But say you saw this market move to the downside here, and you were like, oh, I'm going to wait for shorts, and you see this come up here. You think, oh, I might get in a short here. I think it might be a good way to like suss out if you should be in that short yet or not. You know, because if you were to look at this, you could say, well, actually, we had this structure change here. I should probably be looking at longs. And if I was to be looking at shorts, as we just reprinted there, you know, we should be looking for a break at this level before we then look for our short entry, you know, as we've just got there. And it seems that we might be pushing up higher. So we can kind of know then, okay, if I do believe on the heart, like however you trade, that this downward trend is going to continuate, we could then wait, say this market now closes above 70, we could then move to like that, for example, and then something on the break of that cycle, you now know that we're actually diving down and we're going to this lower time frame, continuing over this, we could then take short positions. I'm learning people. Not going to pretend that I know, because I don't. I mean, do your own due diligence, do your own back testing on it. I only did like a couple of hours of it, and I realised that it actually kind of works. It seems to work for a lot of markets as well. You know, I mean, it seems to work for the Dow as well, or the DAX even. It seems to work for the DAX as well. As you can see, that would have been its low. So you might have thought like this was a low, you know, and you might have got caught on this sell and think, oh, okay, we're going to a sell. Whereas with this process that I was just sort of highlighting, we'd have actually seen that this is the low, and then once we go onto the sell, we would have seen, oh, actually this is the new low, and now we've gone up and higher, this is the new low, and now we've gone higher again. This is now actually the new low. So for us, we would see that all day, pretty much since 2:30, we've been in long positions. You know, we might have had this position here flip us short, and we'd be looking out for shorts. And obviously, then we would have seen that this short actually got itself decided at 2:30, that we flipped them bullish. And then you stop you getting caught out in areas like this or wherever. You could even then see, okay, and then trade it up. So now we know that if we're staying bullish really until this low is taken out, which then we might flip the script. I mean, maybe there's price action within here which shows that to you guys, obviously, anyway. But for me, being someone that doesn't know too much about it all, just sort of finding my feet as we progress forwards, it's something that I thought quite quickly. I was like, oh, this is quite helpful. You know, you correlate that with other things, and I think there's something in it. But yeah, at the moment we're just kind of waiting to see what's going on. See if there's any opportunities here that I'm really visualising and sort of seeing come to, that my gut wants to get involved with. At the moment, there's nothing. Also, update the reason of why tomorrow or next week I might be available to trade even London Open and then the New York Open is the person that I work with in construction is pretty much jacking it in by the looks of it. He's had an absolute gut load. We're constantly getting mismeasures and too much work piled on, and he's looking at like jogging it on. I don't want to continue working for him just on my own. The company is a little bit, temperamental when it comes through with it. So looks like that I might have this little gap of about a week or two before then I go into a new position at a new firm. So it might be something that I can sort of capitalize on. If I end up passing an account and getting a withdrawal account of 5,000 or something within that week to 2 week span, I might then just say, fuck it, let's extend that week to 2 weeks for another week to 2 weeks, and let's just see if we can do it again. I mean, you lads out there that are in construction, you know what I'm saying when I say it's not fucking difficult to go get a new job. A lot of us lads, when you got certs behind you, you can just walk into a building and just say, oh, well, yeah, I'm here for this, and they'll just hire you on the spot. It's happened to me a fair few times. I mean, I've worked on the gas as a plumber, spark, paint and decorator, grounds worker, reinstatement, banksman, digger driver. I like to try my hands with all sorts, as I always say, jack of all trade, master of none. Obviously now I've been doing double glazing, so I don't really know what I'll go into. I might even go in for yard manager or something like that. But yeah, sorts, as I always say. Fucking hell. So I think we'll just sort of see how that works out. But I just wanted to really guide over on that little thing that I found out yesterday. Like I say, do your own back testing on it. See if you see any correlation between locating lows off of the last known highs or whatever of an RSI. Because for me it seems to be proven that quite nicely. I mean, like you say, the last known, that's a high, an impulsive move to the top side. That top side is telling us bullish on the RSI. Everyone goes oversold or overbought. To me, that just signifies that we are an impulsive move to the top side that becomes outside the normal relative strength. So if we were to take the low off of that relative strength and be here, this would surely be a good place to look at our pivotal point for the market bias. So at the moment we're looking at longs, and any break below this level and pushing lower would surely then signify to us with some level of accuracy. I mean, do your own back testing, but with some level of accuracy, it would signify to us that we could actually be looking for further short moves. But like I say, I do your own back testing, but I've done it I did a couple of hours over on the weekend. And I looked over, as we just did, over the DAX, FTSE and things like that. It seems to be working pretty consistently. FTSE not so much. I think it's more so due to the volume. But even so, I mean, if you were to look at the FTSE, we'd be looking at longs. Well, longs to here. We'd then be looking at shorts, which were quickly taken out, back into longs that would have held. We would have been taken out for a short. For the bias would have changed, and this would have been the last known area, and then we'd have been looking at long here and still holding that long the whole way through. So pretty much when true volume come back in at 2:30. So when that true volume come back in at 2:30, we'd be looking again at potentially bullish. Like I said, do your own due diligence. I'm just some fucking muppet that is just found something over the weekend that I think has some relevance. You might be able to find something out on it. and it just seems to be strange as well that it works on most markets. Like say you got a low, going over it and bleeding it a little bit dry. I feel like it's someone. Just if you want to, you can go do your own due diligence and see if there's actually anything that you can see in there. Just seems to me that it works pretty well with having some form of bias, with a little bit more edge than just going off of structure itself. If you were to go off a structure and say, oh, you got high, low, this was the low, there's a new high, low, and you're struggling to work out which one's significant, maybe throwing an RSI on there, change the value, depending on obviously what you trade. This is a 3-minute chart. And you might see then, like, okay, I'm getting a bit confused. Which one's, the impactful high or the impactful low? And you might get a little bit like, I don't know, there's too many highs and lows. And I feel like this might help someone out there, whip them out by looking for the impulsive move. Look for the high but before the impulsive move and draw that out. And then go, okay, well, this one is actual, important move. And then we're trailing these highs down. Both of these are important highs. These lows all of a sudden don't become so important, because you can see there might be continuational lows, but all they do is confirm that you are continuating low. Whereas these are the significant important highs, like we see here, that actually change market structure shifts. Might not be the case. Like I say, do your own due diligence. You don't want to listen to any muppet that's just on YouTube doing anything, especially someone like me, which is trading 26 contracts on a 100k account. I mean, we had a good stage one, 2 days we made 8,500 in one trade. Within 30 seconds of sitting down on the market, I think that was on this day here. We come in, we sat, 14.27 was when I sat down on my desk. We took a sell entry, went about 3 to 4 points in drawdown, and we ended up closing out about 4 o'clock down here for 8,500 and past stage one within a day. We had a bit of a rough one yesterday, but like I say, I'm expecting the same sort of turnout today, to be a little bit rough, because I mean, look at the fucking time. We're looking at 10 to 6. Most of the volumes, I know it's a New York Open, New York session, so they're, I don't know what the fucking time is right now. So coming up 2 o'clock in America, in New York. So I know there's going to be a little bit of volume still kicking, but as we had, yesterday, which is, I kind of called it as soon as we sat down at the table. I thought, we got this big bullish move to the top side, big bearish move to the downside. I feel like I've got the sort of feeling of, you're waiting at the bus stop and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and you kind of got the feeling, and you check and you go, oh fuck, I've missed the bus, and you're kind of hoping that one might come around, and you kind of sat in there now, and that's exactly where we come into here. And we just got death by 1,000 cuts yesterday. I can't remember what we lost yesterday. I think it was like 1,600, something like that, which again wasn't too bad. We've seen my positions go to 3,000 in profit within six seconds. I mean, if you really, how the fuck do I see this shit? Oh, there we are. So if we go, you're not going to show me, no? There's no custom either. Okay, handy. Let's go off at the date then instead. I ain't fucking right. I didn't take that many trades. What the fuck is it going on about? I think it was 1,600 we got burnt on yesterday. Well, not yesterday, Friday. A bit of a ball ache. But yeah, I mean, all we can do really is keep our ear to the ground today. I'm going to go off my gut again. I don't normally like the idea of scalping. I go off the 2-minute chart, 3-minute chart instead, because a 1 minute, I mean, fuck me, if I need to go for a piss or have a coffee or something, I mean, I'm tied to the desk. I literally cannot move, and I don't like that idea. The 3-minute gives me a little bit of like, a breathing space. But at the moment, I'm going to stop my rambling and just sort of watch how the market progresses out. I think we know really this is going to be our pivotal point. As we said earlier, I'm going to just sort of utilize that a little bit today. So we know that we're looking for bullish movements. Anywhere up here, I'm not interested in a bullish move. And to get into a short position, I'd want to see a significant move to the downside, or especially see some level of fall before we can get into a continuation or move. But that move, again, for the sell side would have to be some level of significant. A lot of people might like these sort of positions here, or these sort of positions here, or even this position here. For me, it's like catching a falling knife. You don't know how far that first bar here is going to fall through, especially if we, utilize this RSI or something. It could move that whole way through the bottom, so you get into a sell position here and it moves double to triple what your expected risk was. So we're just going to play out that market and just see how we play, see where we go, see what happens. So yeah, 1.33 lots so far. I'm not seeing anything that is worth taking. we're just gonna pop this out and stay quiet for now. Right, so we're gonna trade till 6, 7 o'clock. See how we get on. I'm going to mute for the time being. I don't really see a position for myself setting up within the next 10 minutes. So I will be here, but I will be muted. I'm going to sort of just sit on my phone and have a fag and things like that. And if anything changes between then I'll jump back on. Sorry, mate. Just waiting on some form of setup. Like, fuck all going on, son. To be expected, given that it's 20 past 6. The first load of the stream, I wouldn't shut the fuck up, but the rest of it, I've just been sat on my phone, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, all good. You? To be fair, I ain't even got anything on there to fucking know if that was sent. That was sent a minute ago. I sent fucking 20 minutes ago. Fucking hell. Let's do that. Okay, so looks like we're actually getting to a position now where something might actually happen. If we move a little bit more closer down to that low, I'll probably take a sell position. If not, we're going to wait for 3 minutes to see if we can get a continuation or sell. I'm expecting losses. I mean, it's 6:30 UK time. Most of the volume's normally, slipped out. Same sort of issue we had yesterday, death by 1,000 cuts. I'm just giving it the chance just to go through. It might be tomorrow or one other day this week. Most probably next week that we'll go for the New York Open at 2:30. It's where most of the money's made. It's where we made our 8,500. So I will play. Yeah, I'm not taking a long short here. But there will be sort of like, we'll play and we'll see how we get on. But all it is really is just giving the market just a little chance as we're currently here. Just to see. I mean, like I say, I'm just playing till 7 o'clock. It's been about an hour and a half, so we've been in for about an hour now. Fuck all's happened. It's the first little area of pullback that we were talking about when the price was sort of like, at this point here. So sort of what we were looking for is some distinct amount of pullback for either a short position or a continuation or move to the top side. This could potentially be either. This could either be a continuing move to the top side or a short position. I'm expecting either way, if we do get to a short position, for it to probably pop back up and make us lose money, or if we get into a continuation for it to stall out above these top highs and roll over on us. It's kind of the double-edged sword that you get with trading low liquidity times. So I'm not really expecting too much to come out from it, to be honest with you. But given we're here, we'll give it a stab. Like I say, most of the money's ever going to be made probably on the New York Open or even at the London Open at 8 a.m. Let's say hopefully next week or the week after, I'm hoping to do, like I say, where the gang is sort of doing one. I'm hoping to sort of like trade 2 hours in the morning, 8 till 10, and then 2 hours in the afternoon at 2:30 till 4:30. So at least then we have higher chance in capturing. I mean, we would have captured most of this move to the downside and things like that today. But these sort of moves, I mean, we're not really expecting anything. I'll be surprised if volume kicks in at about 6:30. If we get to a trade that doesn't immediately go against us, we can expect it to probably tie us over till 7. But we'll see. We'll see really what this next 3 minutes gives us. If we close around where we're at now, we'll probably just hold off. If we close closer to the bottom of this low, we'll probably take a short. But if we're in between, if we close between the close and the low of the prior candle, we'll like here, we probably won't get in. We'll wait another 3 minutes for a confirmation. But if we do trade and we trade down next to this low, we'll probably take a sell position. I mean, we've got less than a minute, 45 seconds coming up on the candle, so I mean, we'll see. I am more leaning towards a short here, just to give it a punt. Like I say, I'm expecting to lose today. It's low liquidity hours, especially taking a short on here after the extremely long bull run. I mean, it looks like buyers are coming in the last 30 seconds. I mean, we'll hover over that sell just in case we get forced down to the bottom end before that 3-minute candle closes. But what is strange here, though, is that my charts are giving me different times, which is odd, but there we are. It is strange that for some weird reason my other chart is a little bit in front. There we are. So just holding out really for the time being. We were going to take a short there. Like I say, I want to see it more towards the low. If we close between the close and the low, we probably were going to take it. That's exactly where we closed out, so I wasn't interested in that. But there's nearly a 10-second difference between my two charts at the moment, which is strange. I don't really know why. So a continuation move to the top side would be alright. Oh, it's actually third time's out. I don't know why. We're on London as well. I mean, let's do a quick refresh in here. See if that corrects it. No, it's 6 seconds below. My world clock is telling me 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. You can see that we just hit 40 on here. My other chart is also reading 50, 51, 52, 53. So for some weird reason, I don't know why, but this chart is actually out by a couple of seconds, which is odd. Kind of odd. I don't really understand why. But yeah, the timer here is off. It's out by about 10 seconds. I don't really understand, but there we are. So nothing really being given. If we close up here on the top highs, we'll probably take a long. We've got 30 seconds to prove. Like I said, I'm expecting to get it shorted out on me, but we'll just take a stab at it. Got 20 seconds. I'm going off my world clock. I'm not going off of this. This is about 6 seconds behind, so just coming under 10 seconds now. I'm going to take a punt at a long here. Yeah, it's a fair few seconds behind. As you saw down there, the time went. It took about another 10 seconds for this to close over. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this just drop through the floor, to be honest with you. Really wouldn't be surprised. It's a low liquidity hour. I'm expecting to probably lose money on this, but there we are. You don't know until you put your money in, you know. But until we sort of get times where I can sort of trade that New York Open, I'm expecting to sort of get death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, if you had a brain cell in your head, obviously you wouldn't trade, and you would just trade when you can get to New York Open. But just take a punt just in case. But we'll see. I mean, no one's in the Discord at the moment, so I'm not really losing out on anything either. So I'm going to trade to about 7, and then that'll probably be me. We'll go have some dinner. I don't want to get caught up in, you know, death by 1,000 cuts. Not again. We lost 1,600 the day before, then 400 the day before that, due to literally death by 1,000 cuts. It was just because there was no volume in the time in which, obviously, I got involved. Well, an ideal would be we get a big push on this bullish bar. We push up and close on the top side high and breach this high here. Enough for me to probably move this to break even and just let it run until about 8, and hopefully get some form of, like, you know, maybe 1,000 or something like that in the bank. But like I say, I'm expecting to lose today just because of the low liquidity hours at this sort of time. That's pretty much it, you know. I mean, if this was the same trade being taken at, you know, 2:30 or even 3 o'clock, I'd be sort of more lent towards the idea of, you know, potentially getting some profit. But at this sort of point, I mean, good luck. You know, it's probably going to be death by 1,000 cuts. We'll probably see this come right down to the bottom, as we're seeing now. We'll probably close out and then do the same thing for a short position and see absolutely no fucking difference. So, got 40 seconds until we decide to close. So just be aware that I am aware that I'm probably going to lose on these trades. But I'm open to losing, so it's difficult to do, especially when you've had price movements prior to this that have just been so smooth in both directions. You know, like going short straight down and long straight back up on the top side. It's really, really difficult to then, you know, to expect to get any form of profit out of a market that's now just situated at highs of the day. It's really difficult. We've got 5 seconds, so let's say we're closing out. Yeah, so I'm out. Not ideal. I mean, what can you do? You know, so today, so far 500 down. Let's say we can make that back in like a trade or two. Well, one trade, you know, we could be potentially up 2,000. I mean, at this sort of time of day, probably not. You know, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. Pardon me. Like I say, that sort of loss was to be expected. I'm more leaning towards, if we close down near the lows of this candle here, the low 60, or even down here, then I'll probably take and do a short position. I mean, it's heavily looking like it could go short. We just got to see if that volume will continue. There's 3 big bull bars there. If we can close sort of around this level and we get in and it flushes, I'll be happy. The only good thing is that I'm happy that I did, close that position out from -500. It would have been double that already. We'll probably take this next position. We'll keep on taking positions really until 7 o'clock, and then until then, I'm probably done. We're expecting to lose maybe 1,000 again today. Put us down at like 97 or 96.5, give us 6,500 of overall drawdown, and hopefully utilize one of these days this week at 1/2, and we can potentially get, if we're down at 6.5, we need 3,500 to get down to break even. Wouldn't be surprised if we can get in there and get a 5,000, 6,000 pound trade that puts us, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in profit. We've got a minute coming up on the candle. So as per usual, I'm just going to hold until candle close. We'll give it a go. I wouldn't be surprised to get into this short if the candle does close down here, for the market to retaliate and come straight back up to the top side. I really wouldn't be surprised for it. It's like I say, it's the time of day. I'm amazed that there's this much volume really kicking into this market at this sort of time. But we can only see. We've got less than a minute. So if we close down here, anything really below this low, I'm going to take shorts. Going to hold off. I mean, everything in me wants to get into a sell now, but we could see the buyers come back in like we have on the last load of candles of the last 30 seconds, which is coming in now. So we could see, the sellers that like ease up and the buyers come back in. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. We've got 20 seconds. So I wouldn't be surprised for this to go against us again. Kind of accepted that. The only reason I'm trading it and willing to lose is just because, at the time of day. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to take a short here. Let's see if there's any continuation after this candle, or if we're just going to buy straight back up and lose, 1,500 quid again today. I'm expecting to lose. It's just sort of the time of day that I'm trading in at. Start trading at 5:30, trying to trade from 5:30 till 7. I mean, you're right. It's a recipe for disaster, to be honest with you. So I'm not overly worried, as to say, to be honest. Let's say if we were to take that idea that we were talking about earlier, the low obviously would have been here because of this low here, which then would have been moved to the underside of here because we were looking bullish, which if we line that up would have been here. So we see that there is a potential if we were going off this. We'll get to see if it plays out, if we're going to see that market structure shift to the downside, but we also need to see this bar here not push too high. I'm expecting to lose this trade again, and we'll probably just play it again until the next 15 minutes and then call it for a day. Let's say I kind of knew that we were going to lose. I said it at the beginning of the beginning of the session that the odds are that I'll get into a position, the position will just roll against me and just play its game that way. It's a little bit tiring, but just on the off chance that for some weird reason we get volume that comes in like this and it wants to flush, we'll stay into that market. The entry could have been a little bit better, but what can you do? I mean, if we close around here at a minute, I'm going to hold. Obviously that does mean more risk for a loss, but I mean, it is what it is, really. As long as we can maintain some level of 6,000 and overall drawdown by the end of the session. I mean, if we close up here, I'm out. Simple as. Would have been 1,000, 1,100 down on the day, pretty much immediately, and there's not really a lot you can do because of the fucking time. The time of the day is what can you do? I knew I was taking a risk when it came on. I said that when we started this session, is that we knew there was a high risk of losing money, but we were willing just to give the market a little chance on the day to see if we can. I mean, this could turn around and we could close here and then just flush. to the downside. We could get really heavy and see a level of profit. I mean, my expectancy is about 20% that we might see this work out. I'm about 80% sure that we're going to lose money on this position, to be honest with you. Especially with the market getting this heavy in the last like 10 seconds. We're probably out in a sec. But 9 seconds till bar close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, I shouldn't have got out. I should have held. That's a little bit annoying. That was my fuck up. I got a little bit angsty. Closed before the bar close. Let's see if it would have burnt me anyway. That is a little bit annoying. I should have been holding that. I do kind of blame funding pips for that, for me getting out there at another minus 500 or 600, putting us down. Why is that not fucking updating? What is up? I don't really understand what's up with funding pips, to be honest with you. I'm going to be completely straight with you. I'm getting a little bit pissed off with them. I think if we do fail this account, we'll go with someone else, because not only is their time completely out, it's out by a good 10-15 seconds, which is throwing my other charts off. But on top of that, they just don't update. Like, they just do not update often. Like, how are we still sat at minus 5.77, and how the fuck is it still reading 1.3 points? Because it's a lot more than 1.3 points. I'm pretty sure it's reading the amount of lots utilized instead of points being moved, which is just fucking ridiculous, in my opinion. You know, it shouldn't be working that way. The whole APK plugin in here is not true to what they sell, and it is a bit fucking annoying. I really don't like on TradingView. I have the, pay for the updated exchange, so that you get real-time exchanges, and we're just not seeing that. And every single clock that I go onto on here is on my normal TradingView is accurate to my world clock, and every clock and even the price movements on the TradingView plugin is out. That should be reading 1 minute now, and we can see it's just gone down to 5, so we're 6 seconds out, which is why I ended up closing early, which is, if I'm entirely honest, it's pissed me off a little bit. And then on top of that, these prices are delayed. This price is being delayed compared to the main chart. In actual fact, there is a complete indifference between the two charts, mainly because of that candle closing later than what the other candle is. It's looking like we would have been out of this position anyway, but it is frustrating to know that, you don't really know where you're going to be, because funding pips just don't have the correct APK plugins to run it. I mean, how the fuck you have a time zone there on a plugin? On my other screen, I've got TradingView running, and the time is out by 7 seconds. I mean, candle close is now on my other chart, and the candle close is still open. We would have been out of that position up on this top high anyway, so that loss would have been incurred regardless. In actual fact, I mean, unless we get one more short opportunity here, and we close sort of on this low at the next 3 minutes, that is probably going to be me done. I don't really understand what's going on with funding pips at the moment, if I'm entirely honest, to why they're not updating. There seems to be a bit of an internal issue going on. I think it's because I use that trade locker as well, which is fucking horseshit in comparison. There's been a lot of things so far with funding pips that I just don't feel are the norm. I definitely feel that there we are, so we're 1200 down for the day, which was to be expected, to be honest. But there's a lot of things with trade locker and funding pips which isn't as transparent as you would like from a proprietary trading firm. I mean, they say that you can trade with TradingView, which you'd imagine and assume that you could just plug in, your trading account into normal TradingView using the broker, and then just trade it. But that isn't the case. They use this APK plugin, which doesn't have any of the indicators that you should have. You don't have any access to the community indicators. You have less things, like I was saying about earlier, with the RSI. Like, you don't have the position to go off what the input of the RSI is. You know, if you want to put it off of an EMA band, if you want to do it off high, low, close, you want to do it off of open, you want to do it off close, you don't have access to doing that. There seems to be a lot with this trade locker, which is not true, which is fair enough. Like, you know, if they can't get access or, you know, the privileges from TradingView to put them on their main site, they should say that. You know, they shouldn't hide behind the fact they're using a different plugin and a different website to actually run those positions and the plugins, and they should say to you that you don't have access to the community indicators list. They should have things like that, but they don't. So to me, it's a little bit, their updating time is a bit poor as well. And then on top of that, having the candle closure being, you know, when you, especially when you're scalping, being loads out. I mean, we're talking 10 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, when you're scalping at 26 contracts and your entries and exits are on candle closures, that 10 seconds is huge. If you know, we've seen quite often that when a candle closes, that's where the volume immediately kicks in, because there must be a lot of people waiting also for these candles to close. And it just makes me a little bit, you know, a bit miffed at the idea that even when they're using a world clock, that we are out of sync. I don't know if there's a way to see if it says like the seconds, so we can have a look. I mean, but if I go on my phone and I go to the world clock and have a look now, the world clock's saying 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and if you look at the bottom left, we haven't even got to 30 yet. We're still 7 seconds behind. We're just coming up to 30 now, and now we're 30, and it's 38, 39, 40, and we haven't even hit 35. Yeah, so I'm a little bit, it's a bit of a pain, especially when you haven't got the liquidity there to allow yourself to get shorts. I mean, if we close down here, I'll take the short again, and we'll run it for the last one. We'll be risking, you know, upwards of 2,000 for the day. I don't really mind so far. I'd prefer this next loss, if it's going to be a loss, to be around 800 and leave us with 96, and then hopefully tomorrow or the day after or something, get a New York Open, or at least get on earlier, you know, around like 3, half 3. The ideal would be a half 2 New York Open, where the volume really sits, so we can try to get, you know, what we had the other day, which is an 8k trade. Which even if we got, like, again, an 8k trade, as we looked over, it's not rare for those days to appear. If we got down to 96, that'd still be 4,000, which means we'd only need 1k, which we get quite often in times of high liquidity, to then actually, you know, pass the account. So I'm not overly worried about the drawdown, if I'm entirely honest with you. And like I said, because of the times that I'm trading, I am expecting to lose. I went into this expecting to blow the account. Unless I had access to trading New York Open every single day at half 2, I have a very good confidence in myself that if we were trading half 2 till half 4, that we'd pass quite comfortably. Well, less than a minute now, but at the moment, yeah, it's just I'm not feeling these later days. I mean, we've got 4 minutes. So if this candle closes down here, we'll take this. We got less than 40 seconds coming in. We'll take one more. Let's say we'll take a punt to see if we get any movement on here. See if this volume wants to continue onto the downside. We might not, but we might. We've got 30 seconds on the candle. Again, going off my other chart, off the world clock. We're not going off of this because they're out. I mean, right now the other one's now under 20 seconds, and we can see we're still at 27 seconds. So the candle closures are completely fucked on Trade Locker. It's kind of discrepancy that they should know that traders will have. I mean, if we close down here in 10 seconds, I'm taking a sell. We'll take a punt, risk, you know, another 1,000. So we'll take a sell. And we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Let's say this sort of time, we're expecting death by 1,000 cut. We said it for the last 2 days. We are expecting death by 1,000 cuts. I'd like to see the volume come in here and actually swoop that low. And push harder, but I did kind of think, due to yesterday getting on, you know, half 4, 5 o'clock, the day prior to that being on at like 5 o'clock, I am expecting death by 1,000 cuts because of low liquidity there. You know, as soon as, in my mind, as soon as liquidity is made to the downside, we're immediately getting candle closures, and then then position closes, and then position closures will push price up enough that people will jump on the bandwagon, scalp off the top end, and we'll see it happen again. All we're hoping for really is a flush down to this lower side, so that we see more probability in sales, sell positions rather than buy positions, so we can see, you know, the market sort of sweep and just continuating that sweep and move. Like, this is what we want to see, is to get heavy and sweep that low now. If we sweep that low now, I'm kind of confident we can, at least in open equity, we can get down to a K. So we've swept it, immediately bought back up. They're probably candle closures on the short positions. Like I say, there's no liquidity, so people closing out positions is enough to now move this market at this point in time, especially if there's a lot of orders just sort of scalping it. We want to really see heaviness be met back down towards this bottom again. The more we tap down to this bottom and eat away, the higher the chances are for me that we're going to see the lower side. I mean, if this buys up and flips bullish on the candle close, we're probably out. I mean, it's just going to be another loss. And that's to be expected. Like I say, I said it at the beginning of the market open, it's a little bit fucking annoying that I cannot seem to get away from work and back home at 2:30. I might just, if we get in today, I might just leave it until we can get back at 2:30 and then just trade the 2:30s. Instead of just, you know, cutting myself death by 1,000 cuts all the way down to max drawdown, because that is painful, you know, and I don't want to do it, especially when I backtest whilst I'm at work. I don't want to take these trades because obviously I'm having to do things at the same time at work. But when I take these sell positions and then I just sort of like leave it and then I come back and then I'm like, whilst I'm at work, just double check them and close them out, or I replay bar and I start the replay bar from here. And then I don't look at the chart and I go, I'll do my work, and then I come back and I replay bar it through and I go, okay, I would have actually made money on these trades. It's kind of difficult to then come back to the market after hours and see, you know, that we're just getting death by 1,000 cuts. It is a bit brutal, whereas you know that, you know, if you were there at 2:30 every day, you would have made money. It's a bit difficult. But what we delve today, 1,200 quid. So there's a high chance that if we sit heavy and we push down a little bit lower, that we can see that open equity. We could get out potentially at break even. There's a high potential in that. I think we hit highs of like 819 when we were down this low. Yeah, 800s. So we could easily get out if we wanted to. Massively distinct less loss. Really curve the loss for the day, but like I said to you before, I'd rather hold it and come out of a loss again, and be up at like 2k in losses, rather than get out at break even just for the day and then see the market just floods to the downside like we got to push here. That will keep me up for fucking hours, whereas just taking a loss is what it is. I've already gone into the market today expecting that to be the case. So we will see. I'd like to see us flush this bottom and close below this bottom within the next 2 candles. At least if we close below this bottom the next 2 candles, I feel like I can almost probably bring this to break even. And maybe just let it run for an hour. You know, just see if we close out with minus 1,200, or if we potentially, you know, can check the chart in an hour and see like, oh, okay, we're actually up X amount. I mean, if we were to go off what we were talking about earlier, being that low, that being the low there, and this being the low there, and then we switch it to the upside, so we see impulse and then high, that would then be the new high, and then we've got a new impulse, which would mean, you know, that this would be the new high, and that would be the new high. If we can close below this low, I'd be a lot more confident in waiting to see if we can get a little pullback and see another pullback in an impulse and move this to break even and just let it run. Because I feel like you've got to let this time of day, you've got to let it run if you want anything out of it. You know, but like I say, we could have halved by now our loss of the day. We're going to be like £600 in negative, which we've seen before. Trades can go that way. I mean, look at how little volume we're getting here as comparison to like New York Open. Especially on the day prior. I mean, look at these moves. There's so much money to be made. But unfortunately, we're getting in like we did if we were here at 5 o'clock. You're getting caught up in like nothing. And the same the day before, you're getting caught up in like nothing. I think we got on in like 4:30. We traded till like 6:30. We got caught up in fuck all. So yeah, it's kind of a difficult one. There's 14 seconds to the candle close, just for the sake of holding. I'm going to hold. I would like to see it get heavy and flush that low on the next candle. Get something that we've had on prior candles with the volume. I'd like to see it flush. Like I say, we could get out here at minus 100 and even at that point break even for the day. But I think I kind of do want to just leave it to run and see, how we play out for the day. So in case this one does want to flush and we do manage to get some level of move, we might not, but as you can see, these trades do happen often. So it's not like, and this is in low liquidity areas at times. So it's not exactly like, if we were to be in New York, that we couldn't make all this drawdown back up within a singular trade, potentially even closing that singular trade as profit. It's not out of the question. It can't happen. So that's why I'm not really stressing it. It's just I'm kind of a little bit annoyed with myself, the fact that I cannot seem to get home and trade the New York Open. It's just constantly like, as soon as we have a good day, something fucking goes tits up, and it's like, there's no fault of our own either. It's our survey or the job's gone fucking wrong, and it's just like, for fuck's sake. And then I'm forced to trade these low liquidity hours, which then I know as soon as I sit down, like, I'm going to have an evening of just death by 1,000 cuts. I'm giving the trade its room to breathe. We'll have to just see really like where we're at. But the discrepancy of 10 seconds being out as well on the candles doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Especially like you say, when you're pretty much scalping, it is a difference, and it is quite a big difference. So I do really hope that maybe that's just today that they're out. I mean, I might even support a ticket in there and just say, like, just to be aware your times are out. I mean, like I say, we're reading 40 seconds here. My other chart's reading 51. Which throws the candles out. If you imagine each candle's extended by 10 seconds on this chart, but not on the other. I mean, like you say, we could get out today with £100 in profit if we really wanted to. I'm not interested in that. I'd much rather let the trade run and see what we've got, working for us. See if there is any continuation or move. If there isn't, there isn't. I'm not going to sweat it. But there might be. Like I say, the pain of like taking a loss on this trade and loss for the day is nowhere near, knowing how I am, it's nowhere near the same as the pain of getting out now at break even and seeing the market just rally down to this low. It's not even close. If I could potentially then be up at equity at 100k or even 101,000 if I was to let it run, as opposed to getting out at 98 and being break even for the day, the pain is just a completely different ball game for me. The loss of today, this won't bother me for the next half hour. By the time I go and have dinner, even if this position comes right up now and makes another loss and we're down 2k for the day, so obviously we're only down 1,200, so we could be up right now. But if we come down, we get 2,000 negative for the day. By the time I've just gone and got dinner and come back out and I've just logged onto Discord and spoken to the lads, I don't fucking care, But because I'm not going to check the chart either after that, I'm just like, it is what it is. But if I close out now, make £100 or break even, and then I go and have my dinner and I join the Discord, I'm talking to the lads, and I see then that the price is all the way down here at the 500 level, or below this low or around this, that will fuck me up. You know, for me, that pain will be like, oh fuck. I mean, I sat there for an hour and a half today or 2 hours today doing fuck, like, just to get out of break even, when I could have just let it slide a little bit and stuck to what I originally, my gut wanted to do, and I could have been up X amount. Could have been up 1,000, could have been up 2,000. We could even get crazy volume kicking in a minute. We might, we might see this pull back up in a second, and we might see it just flood again. We might get a couple of bars that are like this. It's still continuational bar. We might see it just flood, and we come down to this 520, 530, and be like, all of a sudden now we're up at 100k equity, which is like, okay, that's not too bad, because then if we get in at a New York Open one of the days this week and we trade that New York Open, there's a high chance then that we could potentially, pass the account. But for sure we ain't gonna pass it, at 7:10 at night. It's just, I highly doubt it. So I went into this session the same as last, expecting to lose money today, and it'd be death by 1,000 cuts to have like a pretty much 0% win rate, because as soon as I get in, the market's just going to turn on me, and that's essentially what it's doing. We've got 10 seconds till market close again. Ignore that 15. It's because trade locker's out. Little things like that really fucking annoy me. I can already tell. They really bug me. That, like, the time's out a little bit. I mean, the candle closed like 5-10 seconds ago already on the other chart. And my world chart clock says it would have closed 5-10 seconds ago. So it's a bit difficult today, trying to liaison between it. There's a lot you can do. I don't really understand how they've managed to do that to themselves, to be honest with you. But let's say it would be nice to see a little tiny pullback, a little tiny one, not a big one, and then to be met with a flush again. It'd be really nice to get a flush down to the downside. But I mean, we can only see what we can do. Like I say, we know right now that we could get out at break even for the day. So it's not that the drawdown's a big deal. You'd look at that first and think, fucking hell, he's lost 1,200 quid on this account. What a dickhead. But then you can see that we're up 1,200 quid now. So it's not really a big deal if you look at it. We had the same sort of methodology on the first stage and the first couple of days that we traded this stage 2. But unfortunately, the luck that we had on stage 1 was time. I was able to be around and trade the most lucrative hours, whereas so far for stage 2 that hasn't been the case. If that was the case, I genuinely, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we'd already have passed, which is crazy to me anyway. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like I say, I've been doing bar replay. When it gets to like 2:30, I've been putting the bar replay on the bar, continuing with work until it hits like 4 o'clock, and then playing the bar replay back and entering when I would have entered and things like that. And they've turned profits pretty much most days on there. There's a couple of days that, like, we lose maybe £3,000, but the next day is like a £5,000-6,000 day or something like that. So it's a difficult one to call, really. But what isn't difficult to call is that if you traded these hours every day, the odds are so far stacked against you in comparison to trading New York Open every day. If you traded 2:30 till 4:30 every single day, and you didn't have a fucking clue what you were doing, and then you had, so person A sat there and had no fucking, both people, A and B, have no idea what they're fucking doing, and A was to trade 2:30 till 4:30, and B was to trade 5:30 till 7 or 7:30, it's probably, to me, night and day obvious who's going to make more money, or even make money if they are, and it'll be the one that trades a New York Open. I also feel like if you were to give someone that has no fucking idea what they're doing the trading hours of 2:30 till 4:30, and you gave a trader that knows what they're doing, they've been in the game a couple of years, and you gave them 5:30 till 7:30, I put money on the person that don't know what the fuck they're doing that's trading that 2:30 to 4:30 probably makes more money than the person that's trading the low liquidity hours, because there's just not a lot you can fucking do. You're kind of tied. And then when you tie the low liquidity together with the idea that this one's charts out by like 10-15 seconds and things like that, the odds are just stacking and stacking and stacking. I mean, you can see by the size of the contracts I'm trading. There's 26 contracts behind the lots that what really matters is them seconds, especially that I close, as we've been saying from the beginning of the challenge, and that I've stuck through, is that we're trading bar close. That 10 seconds is huge when you're dealing with this level of size. It's so big. So to have fund and pip sort of have them not run that way is, yeah, it's a little bit of an irritating thing, and especially given that trading does seem to be, for me, a massive part of psychological trading. Like, the actual trading itself is not difficult. It's all about trying to keep your emotions in check if you should get out and avoid pain, or stay in and deal with the potential of the opposite side, of the fence. Having yourself be mildly irritated by things like that, I feel, is huge. It's like a massive toll on your trading. Which is why I think personally that having a proper platform that you're comfortable with and that works as intended, and having proper price lines that are accurate and work as intended and are displayed as intended, and having the correct time zones with the correct time key logs is massively important, and can probably make more difference to your trading than your trading success, in my opinion, than actually a strategy. Because if you have a strategy but some of those things are out, I mean, the odds are against you immediately. But like I say, we could close out here for £200 profit if we really wanted to. We're not going to, because I want to just give it room to breathe. We also haven't pulled back yet to give us any sort of like area that we can know, like, okay, we can move the stop loss to break even if we wanted to. It'd be nice to see it get heavy on that bottom side and just flush through. And flush through, there's obviously a very clear amount of buy orders down here where a lot of people close, and it'd be nice to see that just flush. But I wouldn't be surprised for price to sort of, get me out and rally and get me up out here, and at least it minimises slightly the drawdowns for today. But as I said earlier, I'm not bothered by it. The drawdown doesn't phase me. With 1,200 quid, some people I think would be shitting their pants, thinking, fucking hell, I've only got 5k or 10k and I'm down £1,200. The fucking challenge is pretty much done. But then you get into a trade straight after and you're 1,400 up. So you could have two trades that go completely against you, one at 500, one at 600, and then you get one trade that you're up pretty much at the moment 1,500 quid, and you realise, okay, well, it isn't that bad. That sort of drawdown isn't that bad. Like on the first day we did it, we went up 600, and I think we ended on stage one. On the first day we went up 600, we ended minus 300. And then we were like, okay, well, we'll see what the next day has to be planned. And the next day we went up, 8 grand. So we know that, like, we could close out now at 600, 1,600. We took a £1,200 thing, so we could close out at £400 in profit. But it's not what I'm ready for. The drawdown it's not as real. It's more of an illusion, than what it actually is. I'm more willing, like you say, just to see this market potentially push. It'd be really nice right now to see this get really heavy. It'd be really nice right now to see a big bar just sort of really pull us down to about here. That'd be really nice. And then see the next bar, sort of pull up something like this, and then see that next bar close, and the next bar get, oh wow, and the next bar get, super heavy, like that. That would be the fucking dream. But at this sort of price movement at New York Open, you could look at that and say, well, there's a possibility. Maybe you won't get it candle to candle pinpoint, but there's a possibility that move can happen at 7:15. Yeah, I mean, good fucking luck for that amount of volume with no news, no input, no nothing coming in. Good fucking luck. So we're just going to watch this now and just see. I'd say at this sort of point, there's a high chance that this market rallies against us, gets us out with less than what we're currently in with. But I'm willing to just, allow the market potentially to move and give us a little bit more than what it's offering. I'm willing to take that punt. So what would be really nice now is to see a big flush to the downside. That would be ideal. If not, it is what it is. I mean, you can't be asking for too much given that it's fucking 7:30. The ideal would now be obviously a big flush to the downside, like these prior bars. We can get a closure, that just flips that side to the down here, and the next candle drops down. That'd be fucking gorgeous, but I don't think we're gonna get it. I think there's more of a chance that this bar, ends something like that, and we just get out. The ideal would be that we flush down to the bottom, but like I say, it's 7:24. I mean, who the fuck in their right mind is trading this hour, to be honest? But there we are. The Discord's now packed as well, so it's, for me, a big double-edged sword, because I could be going out and doing other things. But yeah, like I say, you could close out now, call it a £100 profit for the day, but as we've seen, like, there's nothing, especially in high liquidity hours. I'd imagine that we can get like 13, 14, 1500 pound trade, like drawdown on a singular position before we even go into profit. So I'm not fussed. This whole win right now is potential drawdown at high liquidity hours on a singular trade. So I'm not gonna kick myself about it. I hope this gets heavy and we can get a little bit more profit out. But I also hope really that I can finish work someday this week and get back to the chart for that New York Open and trade that New York Open. That is more of what I'm hoping, but you boys know life. It does not go always the way you want it to. But there will be a point in the next coming weeks, even if we have to buy a brand new account, that we will be able to trade the London Open and then the New York Open. The reason I was hoping it was going to flush from here is purely because obviously we've made that new low. So I'm hoping that if we go back down again, we can have that and we can move an idea that the new high is there, But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. We've got 19 minutes, 19 seconds, 16 seconds. 10 seconds. We're going to hold for another 3 minutes. Fucking candle ain't even closed. It's fucking ridiculous. How far out their time is from the world clock, given they're taking it from it, is just crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. I'd rather, risk price getting up to here and me closing out rather than, closing out now and then seeing price, tank to the floor and get heavy and flush. That would really annoy me. Getting out with like £400 profit won't annoy me that much. I mean, we accepted earlier that we were probably going to be down £2,000, given the time. So I'm not, not going to kick myself about being down, 1200 or whatever. Like I say, this would be the ideal: is that we flush, we stay flushed, that we push down now and we hold that level down, and really see them sellers really take control. That's what we want to see, is something like this and it hold. If it can hold down this level, I'll be happy with that. So if we can hold it, I'll be happy. If we can hold, I'll be happy. I mean, it's got to hold for 1:40, so it's a bit of a difficult one. But obviously, if it holds down here and we close, obviously that's that high that I was just talking about. But it needs to hold. It needs to hold down that bottom. It can't be pulling back up, because otherwise, there's a high chance it will turn against us. It needs to hold that bottom. It has got 1 minute and 15 seconds to hold down there, so there's a lot of time to hold. But it ideally needs to hold down there, and the ideal for me obviously would be the next candle to flush further down. But this candle itself needs to hold. I mean, it's got less than a minute now to hold, but it needs to hold down here, ideally. Any sort of pullback will just, and closure up here will just show, you know, the sellers that they're not that strong and that the buyers are going to come in. So what we want to see is that price hold below this low. Just these two candle closures here. We need to be around this level or below, and we need to see it hold. We've got 30 seconds. Looks like they're losing the strength in the last 30 seconds. We need to see that strength come right back in, as we're seeing now. We need to see it flush. Yeah, we need to see it flush. We need to see it hold for 10 seconds is what we need. We need to see that hold for 10 seconds. That's it, and it just needs to hold this level for 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's a higher probability now that this next candle is going to go short. It's going to go bearish than there is going to go bullish. That candle's already closed, by the way. It's because trade lockers just fucking dog shit with how they hold it. Obviously, as we were saying earlier, we could get out now with a profit, but I'd rather hold and see this sort of thing and see if it flush. That's what I'd rather do. Obviously, like I was saying, that will most probably give us our, yeah, if this candle now closes low, that will give us our high, which shows us that we could be in for a short position. This is what I was saying earlier, I'm not that fussed on drawdown. You know, it's been up 2,000 now, so could be up 700, 800 if we were to close, but I'd much rather just see that market push further. Like I say, if I was to get out now, and I'd be like, okay, that's pretty cool, and I'd be pretty happy with myself, and then go have dinner. But then if I then come back after dinner and, you know, I had a smoke or something and see price all the way down here, I'll be kicking the fuck out of myself. You know, I'll be like, for fuck's sake, you should have just held it. That'll hurt me a lot more than seeing all of this profit disappear. We've got a minute left on this candle. As soon as this candle closes, I'm probably going to hold for another 3 minutes. So I'm going to go make a coffee as soon as this closes. Just sort of have a look at what I want for food. Got 30 seconds. I want to get prepped and go make coffee. Okay, so I'm back. Let's see that we're pretty much still trading around them same lows that we managed to get to. Oh, God. Let's just see if we can hold this bearish. Like I said, I don't mind getting out for half this profit, to be honest. Being 1,000 or something. Or even being 500. I don't really give a shit. I'd much rather see this potentially sink, know that I held on to see it sink, rather than get out now. That's just me. But everyone's different. I'm sure if anyone was to watch this, or is watching this, you might be in a complete different spot. You know, where you're like, well, fuck it, I'd actually prefer to just get the fuck out and take profit when you can. But then a move like that, if I got out now and saw this starting to go again, for me, that is a loss. You know, for me, that hurts more. So, yeah.
She's working on 3 things right now. Herself.
The fuck was that? Cringy ass fucking Instagram stories. On hold for another 3 minutes. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to go against pretty much everything I kind of say if we push up higher here, because I want to hold to allow it to breathe. At the same time, it is like coming up towards 8 o'clock and I haven't enjoyed any of my evening yet. So push it up any higher than this and I'm probably out. Ideally we see this flushed out, get a lot of volume and just push to the downside. That's the ideal. We need to take out this low if we're going to do so. Let's not forget as well that, as we were saying earlier, this high, if we were to go off of what I was talking about earlier with the RSI, is, if we were to confluence that to the top of the market, this is an area of actual, a logical, fuck me, my brain's frying. This is an important, impactful high. So if we can sweep this low right now, there's a good chance that we actually continuate this low. But it does need to sweep it. So obviously we're just tickling the bottom of it at the moment. So there is the sweep. You've got to see it continue though. To sweep and get bought straight back up shows me, if anything, that I should probably be getting out. We'll wait till candle close and we'll see how this candle closes, but yeah, I mean that to me signifies a very good chance of the market turning, having a little bit of a pullback, a bit more than what I want to be involved in, a lot more than I probably want to hold through. If it gets heavy and closes towards the bottom here, or even pushes this a little bit further, I'll probably hold. But if we close up, above pretty much this blue line, I'm out. Which it keeps on flipping to the top side, which is, to me signalling that we're probably going to be out. We've got 30 seconds. Got 15 seconds on this candle. 10 seconds on this candle. I'm out. Like I say, I just want to enjoy my evening. That candle did actually close above there, if you were to go off at the actual normal time. I don't really mind if it shoots down to the lows now, I'm not really that too bothered. We ended today at, oh fucking gotta refresh it because it's this bollocks. So we ended the day with minus 117, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's not the ideal, but all in, it isn't too bad given that, it's low liquidity times. And I wasn't really expecting any proper profits to come out. I don't really care if this sinks now. To be honest, we gave it its chance. We got a bit of a pullback coming up. We see a lot of volume coming in for buys on this bottom end. And it's now like 10 to 8, I don't want to see it till 8:30, 9 o'clock. Like I say, I work a normal job, so I don't want to have my whole evening taken up. It was a bit late to get involved here anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much going to be today. I'll take that. So yeah, I mean, we'll see in the long run in a couple of hours if we did the right thing and pulling out now, or if it does sink. But I can't imagine it 8 o'clock that we're going to see much continuation. If we do, we'll probably end up down near these lows, and then still I've got to wait for a bullish move to the top side again for me to get out. Anyway, I will never close at lows. So yeah, there we are. All in all, a little bit bully, but $117 down, which is fuck all. Hopefully tomorrow or another day we can grab that New York Open and we can potentially pass. I mean, it did bring us pretty up at 98, essentially 98,000. So we need 2k to get back up to break even, which it's not too